Hey guys, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing great today. So today we are going to cover the topic that is client script. So most of you have maybe heard if you have a technical background. So most of you have heard this word at least client side scripting. So let's first check what is client script. So if I go to the documentation, I'm going to search client script in ServiceNow. Okay. So let's go with the definition. So basically, what is client script? So client script is, so you can see I am here on the Paris release. Let's go to the latest release Sendigo. The definition will remain same. Okay. So basically, client script run on the browser. So the system to run JavaScript on client side, that is our web browser. So currently I'm using Chrome. So yeah, so every those scripts will be run at my browser end. So there is a client server architecture, whatever technology you are going to use. So whatever is happening on your browser, that is client script. So when you interact with the browser, there are particular events occur. So suppose if I am going to fill a form for my admission or for like okay, consider as in for admission I'm going to fill a form. So I have to enter all the details, relevant details like my name, my phone number, or my marks till now what I have, like in metrics in graduation if I'm applying post graduation. So likewise, I need to fill all the fields. So first of all, when I click on the form, so it will first load. So we have form load, then we have to fill all the values. Then we are changing the field values like field changes value. And then at the end, we are going to submit that form. So these are the events we are going to perform. We have by default at browser, right? So this will be the main things which we can see at the browser level events. So what we can do by using client script, so we can use client script to configure form fields, field values while the user is using the form. Meanwhile, the form is open and till it is getting submitted. So if you want to do any modification at the form level, so that can be achieved through the client script. So we can make the fields hidden visible. We can make read-only writable fields, make field optional, mandatory fields, set values on the basis of other field values, modify the options. Suppose if we have some drop-down value, like in last class, business customer we created this table. So in last class we had this we created this table and we had a one doctor. If you want to control this in the form, so you can use the client script for the same. So like display messages, if you want to display some messages to the user, like if I use a select audit department, you want to display some message that can be visible here, right? So that is how, that is when we can use the client script. So you can check where client script run in the documentation with the exception of cell edit client script. Client script only apply to the form and search pages. And this is the exception one. Cell edit is exception one. Otherwise, all other are on the form and search pages it applies. If you create a client script to control field values form, you must use one of these methods to control field values. create a ACL to restrict who can edit field values, and create a business tool to validate content, create a data policy to validate contents, disable list editing for you for the table. ClientScript run supported on ServiceNow mobile application. So you need to check this thing. So if you are going to use those ClientScript for mobile application, it is not going to run. So let's see what all options we have in the ClientScript name, on which table we want to make the ClientScript, and UI type. I want to make it run only on desktop or portal side as well. Type will be telling it all the types details. We first cover the application, if it is a global application or scoped application. If you want to make it active, or you don't want, you no longer need that client script. So inherited, if whether it is inherited from some other script or some other tables, like some table extend other tables. So if it is inherited, so global is like if it is will be, if it is true, so it will be applicable for all views. Or if you want to specify the custom view, just uncheck the global checkbox, and then you can specify the view descriptions, messages. Description will be a brief about how, for what you are writing a script. Messages, if you want to send some messages, then in the from the translation table we can get that message too. And the script is contained the client script. So this is where we are going to write the actual script. So yes, let's begin with the one use. I forget to add this. Yeah, I left that types. That is main thing. So in client script we have mainly on load, we have on change, and then we have on submit. And the end, the fourth type is on cell edit. So all are self explanatory. So let me again tell you, on load, when the first time the form is loaded on your browser, that is when the on load will work. On change is something, if you are changing a value of a variable, then it will work. You need to specify the variable name, on which variable change you want to write a script. And for on submit is something when you are submitting your record, then we can, if you want to perform some operation on the inserted record, do some validations, all those things we can do on submit. Or then at last we have on cell edit is something which runs on the list editor, changes a cell value, right? Okay, let's see. We have already a table created. So now we want to apply some scripting over it, right? So let's check. We do have open one record here. So like you can see, nothing is auto populated over here. Will I open the window? It's fine. Okay. So I want to configure a client script. Let's configure from here, client script. So basically, when you are completely new to the system, I would prefer you to go to the like out of box scripts, which is provided by default from ServiceNow. You can see we have around 1500 approximately. We have all those client scripts from ServiceNow side. So you can read it and get more information. So let me build a client script. So what we are going to do, if a username, if when we select some username from the user table, then it should auto populate the email. right? On the change of username, like whenever a username is updated, it should auto populate the respective email ID of the user. I will type a relevant name. Auto, auto populate email. Then I'm going to select the table name, that is business customer. I want the UI type. It should run on portal as well as on desktop. Now I want to type as an on change. I am going to create on change of what username. So now you can see by default we are getting something in the script, right? So let's see how it can be useful for us. So we have some objects already in the function definition. So I am going to explain these as well. Let's first populate the email. So I'm going to use g underscore reference function. Although whenever we auto populate something for the reference of our record. So I would recommend you to use a glide ajax. That's the best practice. But here I only want to auto populate one value, so I will go with the get reference. So how we are going to use, we have a glide form API. So that is referred as g underscore form dot get reference. The first parameter you can see the field name, and the second parameter is callback. So which field name is our reference. So this user name is our field name, and we are going to check it on the right click. We see u underscore user underscore name. And the second is the callback. So now we are going to callback is a function basically. So function called within a function is callback. Callback runs asynchronously. So what is asynchronously? That it doesn't wait for the response and block the system. So it basically runs in the background, and then now we will have a result as a user data. So what user data we want to set? We want to set the email g underscore form dot set values. We want to set the values. What do you want to set? I want to set for the email one, right? What is the email? U underscore email. U underscore email, right? And what should be the user dot? Should be the result dot email. So this is coming from the sysuser table, the email. Let me show you from there. Suppose we have users table here. And I open the users table. Then if I open one record here, we'll check the background value of it. Email. So now we can populate it like this. Great. So what should happen? It should auto populate our results. So let's refresh it. we are going to change the user. It says the underscore form is not defined functionality. So we have some error. Let's see what we have done wrongly. So you see, we have spelled it wrong. That's why it's not looking like that. Okay, fine. We can save it. To refresh our client side code. Great. Now if we change, we select user. Yeah, it's auto populating. Like we have selected Adela and it's auto populating the Adela thing. So yeah, we have done it successfully for like if I want to auto populate email, company, location, all these fields from the users according to you when user is changed. So what do you need to do? You need to um, use the glide ajax for that. Then you should go and populate all these fields using glide ajax. So yeah, for the official documentation, the search for the API reference for client script. So you will see multiple APIs over here like glide ajax, commonly used glide form, G underscore form. Glide record is also important. Glide user is also important. So all these are important ones. So if you don't know any function, just go there and search for all the functions. So you can see a detailed and descriptive information about API functionalities, and you can utilize the same. So yeah, that's all for this on-chain scripts. Likewise, you can um, build all one example with all types, like using on load, on change, on submit, and on sell edit. So basically, yeah. So on load is when the form is loaded, on change is when a form some values change on the form, and on submit is when I'm going to save this record. And on sell edit, let me show you. Suppose we have this table, and if I change some value from the list, this is cell, and this is we are changing the cell, that is on cell edit. So that time we can, that is referring to the list view, not to the form. Okay, so that's great. And now I want you to tell like these options are also important. So if you want to have more knowledge on this, so I would recommend you to print this value of all this reference. So let me, I have this content ready for you. So if you print this, you will have more knowledge on these values. Let me print the remaining ones also for you. That is control. We have this template remaining. Great. So we can see what all values it has. Okay. So that we can use best practices where to run that particular script, because if we don't do proper validations like proper checks like we have here is loading and is new value, so there is no use of running this script, right? If we don't want, when a form is loading and when we don't have a new value, so we are directly returning, so there is no use of running this script, next script, which is outside is loading. So that's why it is good to use leverage all these objects to make your instance less burden free, you can say. Also it will be good for the instance performance. It will enhance the performance because less your code is executed, um, unnecessary code should be cleaned up. So this proper validations can improve your instance performance. So let's check it. You see the old value is empty because we don't have any value in username. New value is again empty because we have not changed. Is loading is true because it's the first time when form is loading. And then control has some object that is of HTML input element. Its template is false. Okay. Let me open that record in new window so that it will be more clear. So again, we have this same stuff. So suppose if we change this value, so again, old value is nothing, but its reference field, so new value is the SysID of that user, a prime, and is loading is false because this is happening at on change. It's not a form loading. So again, we have a control, we have an object of HTML input element, and is template false. Right. This way you can have a better use of these things. So let's check here. If we say template, if you want to check what is template is, identify whether the change occur as a part of template load. So it's not a part of template load, right? It's only happened because of load change. Yeah, its template is false, that is why. And if I say other one is the control, the HTML widget whose value changed. So we have that particular field as an HTML in the HTML. So username because its value is changed. So control is not accessible in while and service portal. So this is dynamic HTML widget whose value has changed. Okay. So yeah, that's all about all the objects in here. If you want to run something on change, on load, and on change, then you can leverage this object is loading, this parameter of the function. Basically, it's provide you if you write some content in is loading, it will run for on loader as well. Yeah, that's all. So we are good with the client scripting now. Just experiment as much as possible and you will have more clarity on that. Thank you so much for listening. Keep learning and have a nice day. So just check for the refer documentation in my video and you will be good with that. Happy learning. Bye-bye.